People in our world often like to lie and deceive others, either for some personal gain or just for fun. In this video, I will tell you about cases when someone deliberately created a clever and well-thought-out deception, and many believed in this hoax. You can expect 10 interesting facts about these instances of mystification. In 1947, in a small American town called Roswell, an event occurred that would later be referred to as the Roswell Incident. A farmer named Mac's brother discovered strange debris on his property, believed to be from an object that had fallen from the sky. Max collected the debris and took it to the local sheriff. Shortly thereafter, the military, upon obtaining the debris, initially informed journalists that they had recovered remains of a flying saucer. However, a few days later they changed their statement, stating that it was merely a meteorological balloon. Since then, the Roswell incident has become a favorite topic among ufologists, who believe that an alien spacecraft actually crashed there. This event could easily be the subject of a separate video, but I'll provide a brief overview. Many years later, in 1995, a relatively unknown American film producer named Ray Santilli released a sensational black and white video, claiming it was filmed in 1947 shortly after the Roswell incident. The video purported to show the autopsy of an extraterrestrial being. In the video, you can see a table with the body of a humanoid with large eyes and a fragile and thin body. Two men in sealed suits spend 2.5 hours dissecting the body and removing various organs. Ray Santilli sold copies of this footage to several television companies, making a substantial profit. He also released video cassettes that were sold for $70 each to the general public. The footage appeared highly realistic and caused a stir. However, skeptics from around the world pointed out numerous inconsistencies in the recording. For instance, the doctors performing the autopsy were seen mishandling their instruments. Additionally, Santilli refused to provide the film for expert examination. He claimed it was genuine footage from secret FBI archives that he had miraculously obtained. Despite the skepticism, the video gained attention. Experts pointed out many discrepancies, such as the way the autopsy was conducted and the handling of the supposed alien organs. The autopsy procedure appeared crude and careless. The biohazard symbol, visible in the video, had been created long after the video's claimed production date. In 2006, 11 years after its release, Ray Santilli admitted that the footage was a hoax. He stated that the video was a reenactment of an original video he had once possessed, which had been damaged. Santilli insisted that the original footage depicted a real extraterrestrial autopsy. He said the alien body in his reenactment had been created by a British sculptor using latex, metal rods, and animal organs. Nonetheless, many ufologists still believe in the authenticity of the autopsy video, insisting that extraterrestrial beings have long been among us. Legends of giants have existed throughout human history, mentioned in the mythology of many countries and even in the Bible. Numerous archaeologists have attempted to find traces of ancient giants, but no remains have been found so far. However, opportunists have taken advantage of the fascination with giants. In 1868, an American named George Hall, an atheist, engaged in a debate with Christian priests about how literally Christians interpret the Bible. Hall wanted to demonstrate how easily believers could be deceived. He devised a brilliant hoax. He hired workers to carve a 3-meter-long plaster slab. He then found a sculptor in Chicago who secretly crafted a 3-meter-tall statue of a man in an unusual pose. Hal, along with his brother, buried the statue on his brother's farm. A year later, Hal hired workers to dig up the statue in the same spot on his farm. The events took place in Cardiff, New York, and rumors about the petrified giant spread rapidly through the region. Journalists arrived at the scene and reported on the stone giant. The Cardiff giant quickly gained national attention. George Hall wasted no time and charged people 25 cents to view the giant on display. Eventually, he raised the price to 50 cents due to the overwhelming number of tourists flocking to see it. However, scientists who came to examine the giant immediately declared it a forgery, although their opinions went largely unheard amidst the general excitement. People desperately wanted to believe in the authenticity of the petrified giant, especially during a time when the famous showman P.T. Barnum was organizing various circus shows and exhibitions of oddities, including fakes. Phineas Barnum, a well-known showman of the time, offered to buy the Cardiff giant for a substantial sum, $50,000, a huge amount back then. When Hal refused, Barnum created a replica of the giant for his museum, claiming it was the real thing. Eventually, both the original Cardiff giant and Barnum's replica were exposed as hoaxes. Despite the revelations, there were persistent attempts to unearth similar giants and even sell these counterfeits to collectors for considerable sums. The original Cardiff giant, however, still exists and is on display in a small museum in the USA. In the 19th century, people in Western countries had a strong fascination for the unusual and extraordinary. Exploiting this curiosity, swindlers took advantage. During that time, many exhibitions showcased items labeled as mermaid mummies. When you hear the word mermaid, you probably conjure an image like this in your mind. However, the mermaid hoaxes of the 19th century looked quite different. This is how they actually appeared. Of course, these were not real mermaids. Deceivers took the dried body of a small monkey, sewed it to the dried tail of a large fish, wrapped the concoction in paper, and treated it with a special substance. They claimed to have captured these mermaids around the Fiji Islands, a relatively unknown place at the time. The Earth was not as thoroughly explored, and many believed it was possible for such creatures to exist somewhere. Numerous mermaid mummies were created by different individuals and displayed at various exhibitions, not only in the USA. One of these exhibitions was hosted in P.T. Barnum's famous museum, as mentioned in the previous fact. However, an exhibit there was destroyed in a fire. Nevertheless, due to the abundance of fakes, some of these fabricated mermaids have survived to the present day. You can still see some of them in American museums. Throughout history, people have employed various ciphers and simple cryptography methods. With the advent of computers, most of these ancient ciphers were easily cracked. However, there exists a unique and ancient book that continues to baffle experts. It spans over 200 pages, and its contents remain a mystery to this day. This is likely due to the fact that the book, known as the Voynich manuscript, is actually a mystification, written in a non-existent language, rendering its text devoid of meaning. The manuscript is named after Wilfrid Voynich, a Polish collector of antiquities, who acquired it from a shop in 1912. The Voynich manuscript is written on parchment. Its page is adorned with extensive text in an unknown language, accompanied by numerous intricate, colorful illustrations. These drawings depict various plants, many of which do not exist in reality, along with celestial bodies, constellations, zodiac signs, and even naked women bathing in rivers. Radiocarbon dating indicates that the parchment used for the manuscript dates back approximately between 1404 and 1438. Despite its origins, the manuscript script has stumped scholars for centuries, including renowned figures like Rudolf II, the King of Germany. Thousands of specialists, including cryptographers who successfully deciphered the German Enigma machine's code during World War II, have tried to unveil the Voynich manuscript's content. Modern cryptographers, armed with powerful computers, have also been unsuccessful. Analysis of the manuscript's text reveals features consistent with genuine language, such as repeated letters within words, certain letter combinations, and the presence of symbols that never start words. The manuscript's illustrations, created with paints and materials that were expensive and accessible only to skilled artists of the time, suggest a certain level of expertise, despite their seemingly amateurish appearance. Numerous theories attempt to explain the true nature of the Voynich manuscript. Some speculate that it's written in an ancient, lost language and serves as a medical or scientific reference. However, there is no definitive consensus among scholars. Many researchers believe that the Voynich manuscript is a deliberate hoax, created either in ancient times to be sold as a valuable, enigmatic tome, or as a trolling effort to bemuse future generations attempting to decode it. While the mystery of the Voynich manuscript may one day be solved, the prevailing evidence suggests that it is indeed a mystification, a purposeful enigma that has confounded and intrigued scholars for generations. Deceiving thousands of trusting adults and even children is exemplified by the incredible story of the Cottingley fairies. This event unfolded in England from 1917 to 1921. Two cousins, one aged 17 and the other 10, enjoyed spending time by a stream. When their parents inquired about their prolonged outings, the girls claimed they were playing with fairies. To prove their claims, they borrowed a camera from the father of one of the girls. Shortly after, they returned home with photographs that depicted the younger girl surrounded by what appeared to be fairies. The father dismissed the photos as fakes, insisting that the fairies were made of paper. However, the mother of one of the girls, Elsie Wright, held a different view. She was deeply interested in esoteric matters and was part of a local theosophy group. Theosophy, a mystical religious doctrine, gained popularity in the early 20th century. Elsie's mother, Polly Wright, showed the photographs to the leader of the local theosophy community, who unreservedly believed in their authenticity. He subsequently made the photos internationally known by sending them to London, where they were published in newspapers. The photographs garnered widespread attention. By that time, more photos had been taken, adding to the series. The second photo portrays the older girl, Frances Griffiths, seemingly playing with a winged gnome. The third photo presents Frances with a flying fairy. Ultimately, 5 photographs were produced. The fifth photo shows fairies in a translucent form. For those who believed in the existence of fairies, this was a pivotal argument that these photos were genuine. How could young girls perform such complex technical tricks? Experts who scrutinized the negatives found no evidence of manipulation. The photographs underwent analysis, and experts were confident that no tampering occurred after their creation. The absence of any traces of double exposure in the negatives further supported the authenticity. The Cottingley fairies photographs have since remained a historical curiosity, an elaborate tale of deception that captivated the world's imagination during an era when mysticism and spiritualism were widely embraced. The greatest contribution to popularizing the tale of the Cottingley fairies was made by none other than Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, the author of Sherlock Holmes. Unlike the heroes of his literary works, Doyle did not possess exceptional magical abilities. He was, in fact, quite credulous. He was captivated by spiritualism, which entailed a belief in spirits, afterlife, and various wonders. He embraced the existence of fairies he saw in the girl's photographs. Conan Doyle was also a philosopher, and the Theosophy movement, which asserted the existence of diverse beings residing on subtler planes of existence, aligned with his beliefs. This theosophical perspective held that these beings were visible only to clairvoyance. Doyle incorporated these ideas into his writings and authored articles about fairies for a journal. Driven by a desire to solidify the authenticity of the photographs, Doyle sent them for examination by various acquaintances, including a photographer. Their unanimous conclusions verified the photos' authenticity and dismissed any signs of retouching. This was despite the opposing consensus among other experts who unanimously declared the photographs to be fakes, claiming that they depicted ordinary paper cutouts. However, Conan Doyle remained unconvinced by the latter viewpoint, steadfastly believing that the Cottingley fairies were genuine. He maintained this belief throughout his life, even though he could not sway his contemporaries. Journalists interviewed the girls numerous times, and they consistently asserted the reality of the fairies. They reported interactions with the fairies, though new photographs were not forthcoming since the fairies seemed to have vanished upon spotting a camera. The world soon saw imitators replicating similar photographs to garner attention. These imitators capitalized on the allure of public curiosity. The original girls who had taken the initial photographs maintained their claims for decades. In the 1970s, well into their adulthood, they finally confessed that the fairies were indeed paper cutouts, attached to the ground using hatpins. The women admitted to being bewildered as to how their ruse had deceived people for so long, and how anyone could believe 2 young girls. Nevertheless, contemporary forums of esoteric enthusiasts still contain believers who hold on to the authenticity of the fairies' existence and consider the photographs genuine. This is despite the fact that the original photographers themselves eventually confessed to their elaborate hoax. In 1769, Austrian inventor Wolfgang von Kempelen created an astonishing device, an automatic chess player. It was a life-sized wax figure of a person sitting behind a large cabinet with a chessboard on top. The figure was dressed in Eastern attire and a Turkish turban. Inside the cabinet, complex mechanisms were installed that allowed the mechanical hand of the Turk to move chess pieces and play chess autonomously. With this invention, its creator toured many cities in different countries. Ordinary people and accomplished chess players played against the automaton, and the majority of games ended in the automaton's victory. Even Napoleon Bonaparte played against it and suffered defeat. However, he was unable to alter the course of the game, which the chess-playing Turk rejected, refusing to play. This chess automaton brought much fame and fortune to its creator. Spectators couldn't fathom how such an intelligent machine could be built in an era when computers didn't even reach the level of primitive devices. However, in reality, there was an experienced chess player inside the cabinet manipulating the mechanical arm of the Turk through a hidden string. Magnets on the bottom of the board allowed him to see the position of the pieces. Before each game, the creator would open the cabinet doors, showcasing numerous gears and strings inside. However, he only opened a few doors to avoid revealing the secret. This allowed the person inside to move discreetly and control the game. Eventually, the chess-playing Turk was exposed, like many other great hoaxes. Nonetheless, this ingenious engineering invention managed to deceive the most accomplished minds of humanity for decades. Another favorite trick of hoaxers is the so-called crop circles. For instance, in a wheat field overnight, a pattern emerges from flattened stalks on the ground. It can be simple, like a circle or a few circles, or complex, taking the shape of various geometric figures. These crop circles first started appearing in England around the 1960s. UFO enthusiasts immediately declared these circles as landing sites for extraterrestrial spacecraft. Soon, similar circles began to appear in other countries, attracting a great deal of attention each time. Frequently, hippies and various esoteric-minded individuals would visit these crop circles, believing them to be places of spiritual power. They would engage in their own mystical practices there. Genuine scientists also began to study these fields. However, they quickly reached a unanimous consensus that these creations were the work of humans, not aliens. Furthermore, over time, the creators of these circles themselves emerged from the shadows and demonstrated on camera how these intricate geometric patterns are actually made. This process is quite intricate and requires skill. Nevertheless, there is even a pseudoscience called seriology that studies crop circles. Advocates of this pseudoscience claim that while most circles are indeed made by human hands, there are some circles that are genuinely created by extraterrestrials. In 1971, a primitive tribe was discovered in the Philippines that had remained in the Stone Age and had no prior contact with civilization. Their social and technological development was incredibly basic. They had no knowledge of agriculture and relied on stone tools for labor. This tribe was named Otso Manok and drew the attention of journalists and scientists from around the world. A Filipino politician named Manuel Elizalde took them under his wing, inviting journalists to visit them and working to improve their conditions. He even established a charitable foundation that gathered tens of millions of dollars worldwide to aid the tribe. However, the tribe itself consisted of only 26 individuals living in a cave. Members of the tribe sustained themselves by hunting frogs, gathering berries and fruits in the forest, and catching shallow-water fish by hand. Over time, the tribe, or the forest people as they referred to themselves, extended their living area beyond the cave to small houses a few kilometers away. Surprisingly, they had embraced modern amenities, like using electricity. Further investigation revealed that Manuel had bribed representatives from another small Philippine tribe that had been in contact with civilization. These representatives posed as primitive tribespeople in exchange for money, cigarettes, and various other goods. Through this elaborate hoax, Manuel managed to accumulate tens of millions of dollars in his foundation, which he did not return after his deceit was exposed. Today, I have a question for you. What was the biggest deception you've ever encountered? I'm interested in your answers as they are always valuable to me. Moreover, they greatly contribute to promoting my videos. And if we continue this topic, I suggest you check out my videos about gambling games. The links will be right on the screen. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell to stay updated on new videos.